Sir, they've just hit HIO. So, welcome to today's stream. If you don't know, approximately about 8 hours ago, HIO was taken down by a rogue AI. We live in the weirdest timeline, honestly. What the hell is going on? So, let me just explain. First off, let me show you what the blue sky of HIO said. So this is the official Blue Sky, and I'm glad that Blue Sky has public viewing because, dear God, setting up an account for it with a custom domain is kind of annoying, and I'm too lazy to do a bunch of things. I kid you not, HIO has been taken down by Funko of Funko Pop because they used some trash AI-powered brand protection software called Brand Shield that created some bogus phishing report to our registrar, I Want My Name, who ignored our response and just disabled the domain. This is a number of really bad things, okay? One, what the hell is a registrar doing that they immediately respond and then ignore responses? That doesn't make any sense. Registrars obviously are fairly cheap for what you pay for. A lot of domains are fairly cheap, right? Apple.com costs you like a couple $1 million. They know that. But something like HIO back when they just started probably wasn't even worth much. I mean, the new domain for my new streamer name was dirt cheap. And that's on them for setting up market. If they can't pay their bills, listen, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. No one wants a .com anymore. So anyways, so you do all that, right? And then you pay them, and then you expect some level of service, right? A registrar, by the way, who you cannot ignore. You go through a registrar to get a website because your alternative is, no joke, going to the dark web. Your alternative is just having an IP address somewhere or going to the dark web and getting some custom node name or something, right? You don't really have many options for having a publicly facing, for a public facing website domain name that sounds interesting and cool, and it looks inviting for people. Okay, so these companies have like a stranglehold on the industry. Okay, and I can set out a couple of licenses going to random companies here and there, usually run by governments, but in recent years it's been going towards corporations too. So IO, for instance, is actually I think it's a country specifier. I think. Was it IO domain name? Who owns the shit? Yeah, it's for the British Indian Ocean territory. And a lot of other ones are as well, like ly, like bit.ly. Bitly, .ly, I think is for some other place. .com and .gov are owned by the American government. But you also get some of the things like .space, which is owned by a marketing company. And so you go, okay, well, if they have a stranglehold, sure, but at least they provide you some level of service and some level of responsiveness, right? They're not going to be Cloudflare level, where Cloudflare domains is probably the best one on the market. It used to be Google domains, and then they shuffled it over to Squarespace, and then went to shit. Now it's Cloudflare, okay? But at least they give you like a baseline service of, oh, they'll listen to your emails because it's a fairly critical piece of your infrastructure to have a domain name that points to something that isn't going to be fucking disabled. No, apparently not. Apparently registrars can do whatever the fuck they want. So if you have I Want My Name, don't use them. If they ignore your responses and your proof, then what can you do as a business owner except blow it up? And if you don't have a large business, if you're a small business, you're doomed. You lose your domain, and you won't even have time to resolve it, nor probably the technical skill. So I Want My Name is in the shitbag along with Squarespace's the domains, GoDaddy, and some of the ones, right? I think your best bets right now are Porkbun, Namecheap, Cloudflare. There's probably a couple more that are really good, but those three I've seen, at least from experience, have been very stable for like a decade, so it's good. But anyway, so that's on one side. On the one side, the registrar messed up. On the other side, you've also got, what's my stance on GoDaddy? Awful. So again, this is the classic, okay? So here, let's try this. Look. We can do this live. We can do this live, okay? We'll continue the HIO drama soon. Or, well, not the drama. This is not a drama channel. I can't believe we live in this timeline, so I have to talk about this, because it's such a stupid thing to happen. This is not drama, but I do want you to look at this and look at what they're doing, because this is it. There's a larger, funnier piece to this. But first, we're going to go to GoDaddy, and we're also going to go to Cloudflare domains, and we're going to run a little experiment, okay? A little bit of an experiment here, okay? I think they still do this. Here we go. Perfect. So way back when, it used to be that when you searched a domain on GoDaddy, they would actually swoop they would actually scoop the domain up and then charge an upcharge on the price. So they would purchase the domain to bring it back to you. So the trick was always to search for a domain elsewhere. It was such a major issue that everybody told everyone to do that. So let's say, I don't know, let's do like let's do Jamie XX dot space. I was listening to his music. Okay, well, so you have jamiexy.org. Okay, you have jamiexy dot space is 2018 or .org or something. Let's say .net. Okay, so jamiexy.net 1184. Okay, it used to be that you would go and then they would immediately buy it up because for some reason, look at this. Why is it $30? Why is it $35 over here, but then it's something over here? I wonder if they still do this because what happened was they would register the domain under whatchamacallit, under GoDaddy, and then everybody else would have to deal with this afterwards. I guess they don't anymore. But basically, yeah, GoDaddy upcharges a lot. They give you this deal term, which is, I mean, it looks good, but it's only for the first year, and it's for a 3-year term. So overall, you pay more. Like if I go to Cloudflare domain for 3 years, I pay nothing. I pay the same as 1 year. This is for the first year only with a 3-year lock term. So you pay them a minimum of $70, right? Here, you pay them 11.84 times 3, the same time frame, $35. So why would you even bother going for them? But then you also get this like weird bundle deals and stuff like that, and then you also get the shady history of it. I found the support to be decent, not the worst thing ever. But when I've had to do it for like corporate stuff, the support has only ever been okay. It's never been amazing. Cloudflare domain is honestly one of your best bets. It's very easy to set up. It's easy if you're a technical person. If you're setting up your own domain, it's probably that you're going to be a technical person. Squarespace domains, as much as I hate on it, the truth is Squarespace domains is simple because you go to Squarespace domains and then you effectively get them to set everything up and then it integrates directly into your storefront. So if you want to do that, you can as well. So obviously these different companies have different trade-offs, right? GoDaddy has a website builder, which is shit. I wouldn't bother with the website builder. I would honestly go with anything else. What else is there? Oh, Blue Sky has one actually. This is weird. I don't know why Blue Sky has this. I don't have an account yet, I don't think. Yeah, good. Here are some nice mushrooms. What a great homepage of here are some nice mushrooms. Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Luke. Appreciate that. We will sign up. We get Blue Sky Social. Get a custom domain. Wait, no, Blue Sky. Where's that thing? There was a thing that let you like buy a domain from them. Blue Sky domains. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so now they have their own little domain purchaser too. However, I don't think it's an actual. I don't think they're the registrar. I think they're just going through a registrar. So, for instance, they're going through. I think actually it might say Namecheap. So again, even they recommend Namecheap. Namecheap is great. Namecheap is this one. Pork Bun is also really good. They're all very sort of the same. I like to transfer all my domains over to Cloudflare because on Cloudflare you get a lot of like niceties. You get a bunch of things like the DDoS protection and the stuff. So just pushing it all over there and then getting all your records over there and then leveraging the infrastructure of Cloudflare has never not been a good choice for me. They, however, do charge a premium. So jamiexy.net 11.84 here. Okay, $30 per year, which is absurd on GoDaddy. Because who the fuck is Jamie XY? We have a Jamie XX. Let's look at these prices, all right? So on Namecheap, $18 a year, right? It's actually wait, why is it more expensive? What the fuck do you mean it's more expensive? What? Okay, well, how about pork butt? Wait, well, why is it more expensive? What? Huh. Well, okay, well, I take it back. I thought it'd be cheaper. I thought it would be cheaper because why in the world would it be more expensive? Why would it be more cheaper on Cloudflare than on these ones? Okay, you know what? Just go Cloudflare. The only downside of Cloudflare, they add domains over time, like the domain endings. They don't have every single one. So if you wanted .space maybe 6 months ago, you wouldn't have had it. Now they have it now. It takes a while to get there. They're adding more and more over time, but I think now they have all of the vanity ones. So .space, boutique design. I think they have all these now. Club, studio, photography. That's what's stupid. If you make your website something dot photography, no one's gonna go to your website, man. Also, don't fall for these deals, these .com deals, because .com deals are impossible to find. I also don't know how this domain name would work. What? Isn't it just it.com and then the actual server is IT? Isn't that an exploit waiting to happen? Can I register at it.com? You could. Wait, Chad, you actually could. Unavailable, 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 unavailable. So these ones are owned by somebody. Wait a minute. Because so for context, domain names only really work at the root. So the root is whatever it is down here. Everything before that is just stuff that you can tackle on. It's why you can have like app.u.com and then u.com. So u.com is your website, and then you can go into the app at app.u.com. That's why that works. So whoever owns it.com also technically owns jamiexy.it.com. I wonder how many people have bought this believing that they have a cool .com domain name. And I wonder how much it would cost to ruin everyone's day. Because it must be fairly easy to some degree. It's harder to get a root domain because you have to actually figure out how to get access to the entire like a registrar servers, but this, I mean, you could just make an offer to somebody for like $50,000 and boom, you're in. It seems fairly easy. Anyways, yeah, just go with the Cloudflare domains. I don't think anything else is worth it, really. I look for deals, but be careful of those deals because again, the GoDaddy one seems great, which you locked in for 3 years. Same domain off of Cloudflare, off of GoDaddy would cost you $70. Cloudflare domains would cost you 35.54, 55. So you have to be really careful about that. It's very easy for them to fool you. And the only downside is that again, hard to find some domains here. But if you're looking for the major ones, like say a .com or something, you're almost always going to have your option unless somebody else bought it. So let's do Apple. Let's do apple.com, right? Kind of expensive. It's registered already, and then and specifically they don't allow you to try to buy it because they've paid off. They've been paid off. But yeah, just be careful. Just be mindful of that. .net is a good one. .gov, you don't want to do that. .org is a tricky one too. .org technically is not meant to be used for anything specific, but the internet as a whole has trended towards .org being for nonprofits. So do not get a .org and then you're going to use it for a for-profit business. Helpful tips. It's just perception things. It's too late to change it. That's how people use it. Back to the HIO thing, okay? So sorry, my lips might. Well, just give me a second. Dry lips has been sealed with Vaseline. Thank you. So back to this. Okay, so there's on the one hand, the domain registrar failed miserably, and now their reputation is a bit besmirched in my mind. Because the whole point of them is to be a point of contact. You have to go through them. You have have no other option. You have to go through the domain registrar. You're not allowed not to. And they will own your domain name and they simply give it to you. Like you own it, but they host it for you. You have to go through these shitty companies. So you go, okay, well, if I have to go through you, at least you're going to do what I pay you for, right? No, that's not going to happen. So let's ignore that. Let's ignore that very obvious problem there. On the other hand, you have Funko Pop, using some AI trash to try to bring down the website. The crazy part is that we're seeing more of this, right? And I'm going to paint a picture for you, okay? United Health CEO gets assassinated because of the exact same issue of, well, not the exact same issue, but what we're seeing is industries using AI in place of people, knowing that AI is not good enough. This is from a technical perspective too, because I'm a technologically minded person. I'm a programmer. I know what I'm doing. I can't really point to things, but it's not there yet. It could be there eventually, but the problem is that there's just not enough data and there's not enough assurances. There's not enough ways for us to guarantee that it's correct. AI has that interesting problem where at the moment, it's about us reinforcing it through use to say whether it's right or wrong. The problem is that it then relies on experts in the middle between people and the tool itself to really, enhance the experience. But if you give it wholesale control over something direct to the consumer, so there's nobody in between as an expert, and there's nobody tuning the data as an expert behind it, it's all there's going to be edge cases where it fails. Whether or not this is more or less than a human being is sort of up in the air. But at least with a human being, you have a way to go back and say, hey, let's think about this, let's fix this. As a consumer with AI, you don't really have that. Obviously, this depends on the organization. The organization tends to have a lot of policies behind how far you can reach behind the veil in order to fix things. But for the most part, it's easier to get in touch with a human than it is an AI. If you've ever had to call a company and that stupid voice AI system says, hey, well, it's not really an AI system. It's mostly like a voice choice system. But some of them have been toying with the idea of voice recognition for a while. And more, I've seen like a handful of them, but it's startling because I'm seeing more and more of it over time at very, very large places. That they were going towards even free form systems where you say whatever you want, and the system tries to discern what you want from what you say. And that's freaky because if you fail, what happens is that it just says, okay, bye. It hangs up the call on you. It's like, okay, what the fuck? If you have an accent, you can't go through. Simple. It's as simple as that, right? So, this is a very harrowing time for these CEOs for very obvious reasons when they keep pushing these shitty decisions, trying to save money and make money, right? Both for themselves and never for their consumers. And so what happened is that when this went down, everywhere that I saw it, people were posting a screenshot of the CEO of Funko Pop. Holy shit! We live in strange times. No words, just a screenshot of the CEO of Funko Pop straight from the website, and it is so funny to me that this is the new scare tactic. The new scare tactic is if you make a shitty decision, boom, your face gets plastered immediately. Everyone knows who you are, and the implication is that somebody in New York is gonna find you. It is an absolutely absurd timeline. I'm kind of here for it because it's, again, you have to either be an absolute idiot to believe that this stuff would work, or you have to be absolutely malicious to believe that it works. Both of those are bad things. If your boss is an idiot, why the hell are they making so much money? If your boss is malicious, why the hell do we want them? Like, this is sort of the natural reaction to the state of things, right? It's sort of why I always say, people do these things because they feel genuinely hurt by the world around them, because they are being hurt by the world around them. And the world is a world that is carefully crafted by corporations, right? I know I sound like Johnny Silverhand, but Cyberpunk 2077 wasn't made, and the story of Cyberpunk wasn't made because it was, a fun little fancy world. No, it was made as a reaction, as a statement against where society is heading as a whole, right? And this is not to say that every rich person is bad. Let's just just to qualify it here, you can have somebody like the owner of Gravity who realizes, oh shit, he's an asshole, lowers his wages, and then everybody gets paid more, right? But how often is that? And then you get decisions like this. It just feels awful. You know what I mean? As somebody trying to run their business, somebody being like their own person, and especially for a site like itch.io, which doesn't really make any sense, because what are you holding on to your brand for there, and what is exactly the problem that your AI found? And I guarantee you, there's no way to inspect what the AI, like how the AI came to that decision, because a lot of AI tools, still to this day, I don't know how this has been accepted for general use. I genuinely don't know how. You cannot see the train of thought that they've been going through to reach a decision. Even something that's simply captured in the form of, obviously it has to be encoded in some way for the system to use, right? But you're telling me the AI can't even expand the encoding in like a hallucinatory way just to tell me at least something about it? No, it can't. There's no way for us to know. There's no way to inspect it. I've heard in larger places that some of it is so complex that all they can really do is tune the data that goes in, fine tune the data, basically categorize the data as much as they can, and that's really the only lever that people can really pull now. The code, they work on it in pieces, but the whole thing, it's it's greater than the sum of its parts now, to the point where the complexity is simply too much to even understand as a whole. So it's even hard for somebody who has access to the system to know where to even look to get to understand or even get to build in almost like a record of information, a pathway towards truth. And this is weird because I feel like for all of human society for a long time, we move towards citations. We've had this idea that you must provide proof for what you do. It's the whole basis behind the scientific method, or whatever it's called. Sorry, it's been a long time since I said the word. And here we are just saying, okay, well, AI doesn't really have to do that. We have the data somewhere in this giant, effectively, pool, right? Let's just imagine like a pool that you can dive into. It's somewhere in there, and you can just look at it, but we don't know where we don't know where it is, what it is, and also it's encoded because you can't just have unstructured data out of nowhere as like plain strings. You're like the size of a string is significantly higher, so they have to encode it down. But in doing so, no human being can even look at the pool and even discern it. It is effectively closest to ones and zeros now. So yeah, another AI problem. A lot of headshots of the Funko Pop CEO. Again, very funny to me. It's not, it's not something that I want to condone in the world. I don't like. You never want to have a world that moves towards violence for a very different reason, and it's that not everyone is as good at targeting people as somebody else. The chances of you being able to recognize these people on the street in a snap decision and being able to act correctly is probably much lower than you think. And many people, I think, would fail at target recognition, and some poor innocent person is going to get murked, right? But this is a natural reaction to shit like this that makes you go, why? What's the point? And this is one corporation targeting arguably another corporation, right? HIO has a bit of a more indie feel to it, but still, you have to recognize that they have the resources to get their life back on track. They have the resources to bring themselves back up, right? Not as much, I mean, maybe not much more than an individual, but still more than most people. Now imagine if an AI denies your health insurance. Can't really do much as an individual. So yeah, fascinating. F itch, yep, F itch. Itch is gone. Well, it was gone 8 hours ago, and then it came back. I think 2 or 3 hours after it started. So about 6 hours ago, and then 3 hours ago, the only other post on the Blue Sky account is it's so funny because the HIO Blue Sky account, it's just funny. The just look at this. Imagine being the game that is shouted out after the HIO thing. This is your moments. Look, 9 hours ago, I kid you not, HIO has been taken down. 615, 23,000. All eyes are on itch, waiting for a resolution. Boklin, the island of the dead. Low poly first person adventure on a small island of Greek inspiration. Download now. It's like, oh shit, we gotta get ready. A lot of people are gonna download this. Oh man, that's actually funny. Oh Jesus. Oh man. And mind you, 3 days ago, right? In between this and this, 3 days, HIO is down. Boklin. Oh man. The funny thing is that HIO, like, they kind of have to do it, right? It's exactly what they have to do. Oh, boys love visual novel about a grumpy wizard and cheerful cat boy. Oh Jesus, I need this. But it's just so funny. It's just so funny to see. It's so funny to see. It's like, oh man, like maybe they should have waited one more day before they tweeted this. Anyways, yeah, go check out this Boys Love visual novel. We'll play this at some point on the stream because I love visual novels, and also whatever this thing is, and this thing. Oh man. Anyways, let me show you the CEO headshots. Maybe they don't do it on a Blue Sky because they're pussies. On Twitter, there's a fucking shit ton of like headshots of the Funko Pop CEO. On Reddit, there's a fucking shit ton of headshots of the Funko Pop CEO. There's like tons. So yeah, whatchamacallit? What's the thing from the Elder Scrolls? The Elder Scrolls Assassin Dark Brotherhood mark. Was it? What does the Dark Brotherhood do? What is it called again? How do they kill people? It's not the Black Hand. That's the thing. Recruiting, contacting. The Black Sacrament has been performed. The Black Sacrament has been performed across against the Funko Pop CEO. Oh man, what an amazing timeline. But again, honestly, it's just the way that life has turned out, and I think people tend to forget a lot of what we have has been earned through blood in many different ways, right? The safety that we get from those that are bad to us has always been earned through violence so overwhelming that it makes it cease to exist to some degree, right? Happened in it happened in World War II. Happened in many different cases, right? Even as an individual, you have to be significantly violent towards things that are against you and your personhood in order to even begin to survive. So, knowing that this is all of human history, how could you even begin to believe that you're safe by making the worst possible choices against people? This is sort of a natural consequence of living in a human society, and it's why we don't tell people to be nice because it feels good. Because being nice by itself does feel good, right? If you have a fairly well-adjusted mind. But it's also because it's the safest option. If you're not nice to people, people are going to punch your face in, dude. Like, you're going to die. It's just a natural reaction. Anyways, please don't Black Sacrament me. I know I say I make six figures, but it's Canadian six figures as a programmer. And I do actually care about society. So I pay my taxes well, and I also take care of actual social things too. I'm going to get a Black Sacrament, aren't I? Give me a moment to set things up. Today's schedule is going to be like this. We're going to start off with some Infinity Nikki because I've been waiting to play some dress-up game. Then we're going to move on to Golden Heart because I want to finish off that game. Tomorrow, Wednesday, I'm not here. As a reminder, I'm not here. Tomorrow, Wednesday, okay? I don't know for how long. Maybe until Thursday. I'm not really sure. It depends on my wife, but probably not too long. Then, when we're back on Thursday or Friday, we finish off the dating game because there's too much chapters left. That game is so long. There's so much to talk about in that game. And then we're going to continue with some more Path of Exile 2. There's a lot of other games that I've been wanting to play for a very long time. Not just Path of Exile 2 or Infinity Nikki. There's like a ton of games I've been waiting to play. So we have to find time for all of them. But when we do, we will get there eventually. Just give me a moment to set things up. Does that mean Tuesday I'm not here? Yeah. So Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm not here. And then Thursday when I'm back. But I don't know if it's going to extend until Thursday or Friday. Like, I don't know how long I'll be gone. But probably I'll be back by Thursday because that's usually when I'm free. So, as well, if you're waiting for the Web Fishing Awards, the VOD went up today. So it announced it. The guidelines are in the party house in the Discord. Okay, so you want to go catch some fish, get awarded, and you want to judge me on my awards because I'm also catching fish. Be sure to check that out. I've got a mod that I'm going to install next time when we play the game that automatically bans and kicks out all those like annoying bot users and griefers and trolls to make it easier for us. And we're going to have a good time. As well, there may be a collab coming up soon. I don't know when yet. I'll still be playing that, and I'll try and see if we can get more games finished. There's a lot of games that we need to finish, so we'll be going backwards through our list instead of playing new games necessarily. The only problem is that in 2025 we're getting things like Snake Eater, Meat Beater, Snake Eater, Meat Beater. We're getting things like, I don't know what other games have been waiting for that releases in 2025 game releases. Oh, Death Stranding 2. We didn't finish Death Stranding 1. I think what we do is we finish Death Stranding 1. We go into Death Stranding 2. Yeah, I'll think of a plan. And I'll figure out how much time I have. After the 15th, the time will be a bit more staggered. I don't know for how long, but I'll figure it out. And then we'll see how it goes. Give me a moment to set things up. We're going to play Dress Up. I hope you've all brought your garter belts or something. I don't know what that is. As for Soccer 2, so I haven't been to Pripyat yet because I didn't want to continue the game yet. The problem is that apparently past a certain point, the game's content falls off a cliff, and it seems very clear that they're going to add more content to it eventually. So I'm just going to wait until the game gets better. It's a bit like Dragon's Dogma 2, where now I want to play it a year later. So there's a bit of a problem there. Not to say that the game is like awful, but at least from my experience, it's like playing Baldur's Gate 3. You know how Baldur's Gate 3 is getting new classes, right? Gee, thanks, but I don't want to play the game twice. The game is so fucking long that I don't want to play it twice. It's too long for you to want to play the game twice. And the problem with it being so long is that you've already encountered everything before, so it's no longer fun or exciting. It's just a slog to get through. At least for me, like I don't feel the fun in being able to go through it multiple times. I enjoy that the base game is long, mind you. I enjoy that it's long, but I like living with my choices, and I like going through a game once and experiencing everything in one go. Because if I go back to it and I look at the situation again and I go, oh well, I know how this plays out, a lot of that fun and mystery is gone. Like if you got to the part with the hag in the forest and you say, okay, you don't know what's going to happen and you don't know why she's like there, and then you kill the pregnant lady because it's like, why would you sell your why would you sell your child to the hag? That's a choice that you can do in the moment with emotions that you feel at the moment because it's so raw. But you go through that again and it's like, oh, I know how this is going to go. I'm going to cheese it and then I'm going to get the stat boost. It doesn't feel the same for me. So, but that's just my personal choice of like, I don't enjoy playing games over and over and over. I tend to find games are done with experience. Because yeah, look, even like chat is like saying that they played Baldur's Gate 3, 4 like multiple times, right? So this is just a personal choice of mine. I'm waiting for these games to be actually finished before I play them. It's why I tend to play older games in general on the channel or indie games, because indie games tend to be much more mechanic focused, and it's easier to sort of like continue with them piece by piece, because it's sort of a much slower pace and a much slower scope. And also older games are done. The newer games, while I enjoy getting onto them, it's like as soon as you know that it's missing stuff and it's going to come very, very soon, it's like, why even bother playing now when you're going to wait and get the premier experience? Pripyat is a very heavy load. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be worse then. Does Stalker run better with updates for me or the same? Better. Better. But not super better. I did notice a slight differential in Delta, but only so minor that I'm not sure if it's placebo. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I noticed that it's better, but the difference feels so small that I'm not sure if it's my placebo saying, oh, patch, it has to be better, or if it actually changed, right? The problem too is that now my memory is kind of gone too, so the time frame between when I applied all of my fixes for performance as well as when the updates came out was too close to each other. So I don't know if I isolated it enough in my mind. But at least anecdotally, I've heard from my friends that the game crashes less for them. So maybe it is better overall for most players in terms of crashes. At least that seems to be the case. And at least in terms of content, more and more quests and stuff are fixed, and there's reports of this, so it's good. Your mind is strange when playing some games. You RP so much in the mind. So I do too. I don't think that's strange. I actually think that's like fine. But the problem with the RP stuff is, again, like for me, I enjoy like a one-shot RP. Like I enjoy one-shotting the entire RP experience and not really RPing any further than that. Like I enjoy RP within games and really getting immersed into the experience. I think the key is to get immersed into the experience. But in doing so, I then lose the drive to want to play the game again and again and again and again, because what's the difference really if I play the game again when I've already felt the situation? There's a curiosity in the sense of what could change if you do it another way. But for me, it's like I don't really know if that's necessarily worth it. To play through the entire game again and have to go through a considerable amount of the game that is the same. That's not to say that I don't think it's worth it to replay games and to see these new situations, but to say that I recognize that my enjoyment of it is no longer a, oh my god, like you're really getting immersed into it. My enjoyment is now a, well, I know what's going to happen. It's a bit like playing a game and turning on cheats, in the sense of you know what's going to happen. So now you're just really going through it to try to see what new thing you can do. That's sort of the mindset that I have when I replay such long games. It's hard to break out of that for me as well, but in general, that's sort of why I don't look at a game like Baldur's Gate 3 as a replayable experience in my mind. While it might be fun to play again with a different build, it's like for the gameplay wise, I enjoy the gameplay, but I could just play Wildermyth at that point. So you tried so many times to play as Evil or Renegade in Mass Effect, but you just can't. So that's the one thing that I would want to try to do, is to play Evil, but that's the thing that I find difficult to want to even try, right? Because not in the sense that being evil is necessarily hard for me to do. I like being evil. It's fun. Don't take that out of context. but more so that when you're going through a game for the first time and you're just going into it and playing it in a certain way, right? I all the tension of being evil and all the tension of being good is that first time through. If you know what's going to happen and you know how it's going to play out, all that tension disappears. There's no more risk in you being evil or good. It's no more uncertainty. There's no more moral quandary. I enjoy the moral quandary because it forces you to really think about your morals, inspect them, and then say, I'm going to act in this way, irrespective of the consequences, because I believe in it. That to me is the most powerful way of allowing a player to interact with a game on a story level, right? When you replay a game a second time, while it would be fun to see the choices, those consequences are no longer there. The quandary it doesn't exist anymore. The question is solved. You know what happens when you're good, and now you know effectively what happens when you're bad is going to be the opposite of that. Because good and bad, or even if it's within grays, you know at least on some level that they're opposed to each other. And so what you end up getting is no longer a question, but another answer. It's not the same. It's just not the same tension. You know, again, it's why I play games with a one shot mindset, because I really try to engage with these questions at their as a whole. I try to really get into it to understand what exactly they're presenting me. What is the problem here? So yeah, at least for me, I don't find replaying games good. So it's why I tend to wait for them to fix issues. So for now, Dragon's Dogma 2 is finished in my mind, so I can finish that game. Stalker 2, I'm going to wait a bit longer, maybe like a year. Baldur's Gate 3, I'm going to wait for that new patch before we continue as well. And honestly, at that point, I feel like I should just restart because Act 1 had so much stuff in it that, you know, it's like... But then it's like all those choices change and it's just weird. Thankfully, it's just classes, but even then, classes have a lot of impact on how you play the game, so... Yeah. It goes against your morals. I always feel so bad when doing evil things in games. Yeah. But that's the thing, right? I enjoy that feeling. I enjoy squirming. I enjoy squirming and thinking of, oh God, what am I going to do? That's fun to me. But it has to be that you feel that. You have to feel that on some level. And I don't think you can feel that multiple times. I think specifically the way that these games are written and the way that they're done is you feel it the one time and then you just feel it. And then every other time is more about exploring the different timelines, almost like an observer and not somebody in the moment there dealing and grappling with the questions of why. Sorry, that was a great talk though. I enjoy opening up to all of you about the reasons why I don't like replaying games. On a lesser level for visual novels, it's because like my heart is already chosen. I'm a very monogamous person. Like that's the only reason why. For visual novels, I'm just a very monogamous person, so I can't do it again. Like I cannot bring myself to forcibly create a polycule of some kind. It's not for me. It's not for me. In which case, today, your only game you can play as a bad person is in something Star Wars: The Old Republic. As imp, so you can strangle Jedi. You're an Imperial fangirl. Oh no! I love the people who clone and enslave entire civilizations. Oh no! But I can see that. I can see that. I think Star Wars has a very compelling evil mindset. In like it's evil, but it's also strangely how do I say this? It has a lot of gray area with its evil that it feels interesting to go down. I find the Jedi side the sort of not as gray area. I find the Jedi side to be very, very one track minded within the Star Wars universe because it just seems so basic. Like it's just fight against the Empire, and that's it. Like the Empire is just bad. Fight against the Empire, and that's it. Right? There are no moral quandaries that they have to deal with. It's just Sith dead, Empire dead. But with the Empire, sure they're doing a lot of bad things, but there's a lot more decision making behind why they get to those things. And the Jedi just feels like an extension of the Empire in that everything that they decide is based on what the Empire has decided. There's no Jedi only choices. The Jedi choices and the reason for their existence within the lore of at least the games and the main, I guess, like things I've seen, which is the movies, seems to be based on what the Empire has done. Everything originates from the Empire's choices. And so to me, it's not really interesting to be as a Jedi within the games because, again, they're not the ones making the choices. The Empire is. It's why the Old Republic was so interesting because because I mean, spoilers. You find out that your character is going to be a Sith. You know what I mean? Like you find out, and that you're actually going to be the baddie. Unless I'm mistaken here for some other Star Wars game, but you find out that you're going to be the bad person, and yet all that you were doing, it feels almost incongruous and so deeply layered that it's like, wait, how can I be bad? But all these choices, like that's actually a quandary that you have to deal with. Whereas a Jedi is like, Empire, kill. It's like, okay, where is the moral question? Where is the moral quandary? The awakening of a Jedi, I think, is very interesting in the sense of they become open. They open their eyes to the cruelties of the Empire. I think that's an interesting part of the entire journey of a Jedi. But beyond that, it's just they follow whatever decision the Empire does. If they do a bad decision, then the Empire dies. If they do a good decision, then the Empire lives. There is no Jedi-minded decision-making process. It feels like within what I've seen in terms of the ways that it's written, and this could be boiled down to bad writing, realistically, right? If you think about the Jedi as being a rebel group, and you think about how they're able to sort of like build up, you could imagine that potentially they would have to grapple with these choices too. But the media has always treated Jedi as the scrappy individual versus the whole system, and so you never really get to see the Jedi have to make the same decisions as the Empire in many different cases, because then we would see a difference. Then we would see a difference when it comes to those crossroads of how many different choices there are and how many gray areas there are, like the prequel. I think the prequel was the closest thing that they came to the Jedi having to make these gray area decisions. And before then, it's like, and after that, it's like, you wish the Wookiees were real and there was a hunting season. In SWTOR, you played as Imp Agent or Sith Juggy. Such a good storyline. Yes, I agree. Empire is not cruel or evil. Yep. Well, I would argue that if a system can allow cruelty and evil to exist, that in a way, it's implicitly in support of it. And so it is effectively broken and possibly cruel or evil, and it needs to be fixed, because a system that doesn't allow that cannot be cruel or evil by extension even. So I would argue that the Empire turning a blind eye is a choice in and of itself to the atrocities that are being committed. And even then, you could argue that they don't really turn a blind eye. It's sort of like more of a, well, you do it because we need you in some way. What you're doing is awful, but hey, we need you, so whatever, it's fine. Like that it is a choice to be made. I think Jedi's and Republic has ruined so many worlds and civilizations just so they don't join the Empire. So that's another angle too that I find interesting, right? In that a lot of what they've done and a lot of the tactics that they've taken can be very, very destructive, right? So and this is sort of true of every single revolution and every single rebellious act. Fighting against the system in order to place a new system, whether that is a good or bad change, ultimately is destructive. You have to break it down in order to build it back up. And within the realm of Star Wars, when technology is so advanced that people can effectively be blasted entirely in an instant and have your entire planet destroyed, that destruction is on a very different level from, say, the French Revolution, when you had cannons and bayonets and lock match rifles, and that you had to whatchamacallit, I forget the term. It's where you pull the thing to pop the bullet out and then you can load the other bullet. Like, the level of destruction that's capable from that level is very different from what's available in Star Wars, right? It's sort of why in today's day and age, the fear is the nuclear winter, because there's so much more capability for us to immediately kick it up a notch. Um, and so, on the one hand, it has to be because if you want to change the system, then you kind of have to. But on the other hand, you're right in that maybe they didn't have to go so far to destroy and ruin so many different places, right? And so many different people's lives either. Because even within places that are awful, there's also good people living there too, if that makes sense. A musket, yeah, yeah, but I forget the exact mechanism. Because there's a term for it that's not bolt action, or maybe it is bolt action. But it's that thing where, because you know how when they go fire, and then they light like a fuse on the musket, and then it fires, and then they pack the gun, and then they have to pull that little lever down. But it's not really a bolt action. It's like more like fire, barrel loaded. Yeah, maybe I don't know, something like that. Yeah, fire. Okay, everyone stand still. Take the shots. Flintlock. I think it's a flintlock. I think flintlock was the one that I heard. Barrel loaded, I think, is when you load the barrel itself, right? Where you stick it down the barrel, and then you look into the barrel, then you accidentally blow your eye out. Flintlock is the one where you pull the thing, no? Or like when you pull the thing. I don't know. There's too many terms for guns. Where for me it's just shoot. You shoot, you die. So yeah, I do agree. Like the Jedi and the Republic, but it's fascinating because the popular media doesn't explore that gray area of the of the of the Jedi and the Republic enough. At least the ones that I've experienced. But I haven't really kept up with Star Wars for like a good 7 years. So maybe it's different now. Yeah, line warfare. Yeah, shoot, reload, walk 5 years. Yeah, and then and what's crazy is while they're being shot at, they would just stand there. I'm like, well, what are you guys doing? Like the Civil War is stupid. What the fuck is going on? The reasons why weren't stupid, but the way that it went about, like you guys couldn't hide behind a tree or something. Uh, Anyways, yeah. So but there is a truth of the matter that even if your end goal is good, if you're gonna tear down the system, it will always be very, very destructive in some way. It has to be destructive in order for that system to be rebuilt. What's funny is that today I was thinking of doing the Indiana Jones game, but I wanted to do it, after I came back because I was like, well, I already have Infinity Nikki. So, but the problem is that I didn't download the Indiana Jones game because Infinity Nikki takes 50 gigabytes. So we'll do we'll do the indie game next time, and I might as well wait for it because if it's Unreal Engine 5 too, then everything's gonna be down to shit. So let's see how it goes. Because if it keeps crashing too, it's over. So we'll see how it goes. But that game, I really wanted to try it, because the gameplay seemed very, very fun. But instead, I'm going to give you some more of the same. So sorry, everyone. I thought today would be a fun, sort of wholesome, sort of cute little dress-up day, but god damn it, stupid Unreal Engine 5. we're gonna play some more of the classics. Okay. We're not gonna do the dating game today. I was gonna do Golden Heart, but now I feel kind of defeated, and I don't want to think anymore. I'm just gonna play Path of Exile for the next 8 hours, and you can't stop me. So give me a moment to set it up. But it gives us a time to talk about this stuff. So you have to shower. A bit stinky after the skiing trip. No worries. Take your time in the wash up. You stink. What they say in Home Alone? You dirty stinking animal.